Hello guys, this is Dama.82 and this is the announcement video for my Quest for Neater Season 2 campaign. Before I start showing off these new craft that I'm going to be using, I just want to mention a few things. Firstly, I'm probably going to go with a traditional Quest for Neater start, meaning I'll start off facing the Deepwater Guard. I know I've talked about maybe doing this on hard, but I don't really feel like I have anything to prove because I've done Quest for Neater in like a 181 part video series now, so yeah. Anyway, I'm probably going to do that with Godly Designs, and I'm also going to do that with like 5% materials received from the enemy, so yeah, that's probably how that's going to roll. Alright, so let's get into the craft showcase here. The first one here is going to be a heavy transport plane. The entire hull is pretty much made out of wood, though it's very, very fast. 136 meters per second. I call it the Povolta transport plane. Povolta is a Sabaton song off the Corollas Rex album. I recommend you guys check it out. It's probably my favorite. Well, the album, not necessarily the song itself. Anyway, yeah, this is a custom jet engine transport plane, and this thing just hauls ass, and it's got tons and tons and tons of storage space in it. Well over 1 million materials is being carried in this thing. And I built this because the Led Zeppelins, they're great for smaller scale, but I need something that can carry enough materials to build a pretty sizable warship or just a fleet in general. And this thing could have it there much faster than either the Jawbreaker or the Led Zeppelin transports. Been very happy with the design, and I'm not too overly worried about the cost of running this thing because the current version of From the Depths, it's a hell of a lot easier to find materials than a lot of people think. So yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. For those of you who have been following along with some streams that I've done with Mark III and Little Kari, this guy right here is the 99 Ways to Die Crayon Bomber, and I'm going to be using it as my early game bomber. It's a pretty cheap design, very, very fast, and I think it'll be more than a match for the Deepwater Guard. It just drops a 2,000 millimeter frag bomb at the bottom here, and it'll just rip open enemy ships without too much trouble. I might go to using a high explosive bomb instead, but yeah, this thing's pretty dangerous. So let's move on to the next. We got the Jawbreaker transport helicopter. Now, if you guys have watched my Ashes the Empire series, I've used this in that campaign, and I believe I also used this briefly in the Onyx Watch campaign as well. It's just a very, very simple helicopter that's designed to carry materials. This will probably be our early game transport craft. Still very, very fast, 103 meters a second. It doesn't use materials very quickly at all, like 6 materials per minute is like nothing. Of course, you still got the 118, the custom jet engine. Oh, I was looking at the wrong thing, I'm sorry. The 118 materials per minute, that's like nothing for something of this size. I just woke up, anyway. But it's a very, very solid design. Very, very quick. It has a decent carrying capacity for early game. So yeah, very good hauler overall. And next, if you guys have been looking at my Steam Workshop stuff, you'll probably recognize this thing. It is the Rook's Rift light cruiser. It's got okay speed. I'm probably going to be using this probably early Onyx watch. I'm mostly going to be like a support grad for a larger fleet. She's got these big ass main guns. They are all like 400mm 4-meter hash rounds coming out of these, and we have all of these twin casemate guns along the side. I think they're Tesh too, and so are the guns that come. Or, what I meant to say is the shells coming out of these secondaries here on top. They're like 200mm Hesh as well, I believe. The anti-aircraft battery back here is intended to be able to shoot down missiles and aircraft. It doesn't really do very well at either one, but I figure it's better than nothing. Yeah, this is the first somewhat large ship I tried to build in From the Depths after what was it? After my last Quest for Neater campaign. I think it turned out very well, and the aesthetic has just been something that I've been carrying on to other ships as my videos have kind of progressed here. Anyway, let's move on. This over here is a torpedo boat that I intended to use in the Onyx Watch campaign, but unfortunately that campaign just went so quick I didn't have a chance to use it. We're going to see if we can't give it a chance this time around. This thing is the Sandman Torpedo Boat. Very, very quick little boat, 44 meters per second. It's got these casemate guns. They're mostly just for show. They don't really do a whole hell of a lot beyond that. We got some AA here in the back. And we got these torpedoes that are basically just shot off the front, and then the one turn takes over and goes and blows up things and kills shit. That's pretty much all we need from it. Yeah, just intended to be a very, very fast torpedo boat. That's pretty much its only thing in life. It's kind of on the expensive side, and I have been considering like maybe doing a cheaper wooden version of it. I don't know, but we'll see. This will probably won't come into play till like maybe we start going up against the Onyx Watch. The Deepwater Guard, I'm probably going to handle that mostly with aircraft because it just seems to work so well against them. So yeah. Now over here, this is something I've designed off camera. I've been watching a YouTuber who has recently started doing From the Depths, goes by the name of Robert Dodd. Check out his channel, I think he's got potential. Anyway, he came up with an idea for an extremely fast vehicle that would have only one purpose in life, and that would be to capture tiles. So that's this guy's purpose here. It's the She-Wolf. Extremely cheap, but crazy fast. So yeah, this is just to keep the AI for sniping like very, very valuable tiles like resource zones and things like that. Sorry about that, I needed a quick drink. Honestly, this may be the only time you'll ever see this thing. Still no reason why I couldn't make it look cool. Now this guy over here, in my testing, this has been actually extremely useful in Quest for Neater. It's a very useful hull. It's the Wolfstrudel Boomer Submarine. Wolfstrudel, of course, is German for Wolfpack. I plan on using these things in like groups of 2 or more. The missiles, while doing a test campaign, they've actually been extremely useful because there's enough there to work with to basically take on about any target. It's actually a very, very fast submarine overall. Like 32 meters a second for a submarine is unheard of for some people. Though I may try to make something that's just a bit more subtle than this thing, because it's going to draw a lot of attention. There's not really much in the way of trying to reduce this thing's sonar signature. But this is just meant to be a somewhat cheap, spammable submarine. And I think it'd probably be useful throughout the whole campaign, to be honest. Anyway, let's move on. You guys might recognize this dude from the Oxwatch campaign. This is the Hard to Steel medium cruiser. It's decent speed. I believe she does have a steam drive. Yes. I wasn't quite sure if I liked the superstructure for this thing, but it kind of grew on me after a while, and I think it turned out to be very interesting. She has 16 of these 200mm cannons in the main turrets. The lower ones use like I think it's a 200mm Hesh, and the ones that are higher up use like a 200mm hollow point Sabo. This thing will very comfortably solo a bulwark without too much problems. So yeah, I've been very happy with this design. And cost ain't too bad either. Another nice thing about this is the velocity on the hollow points from the 200 mils is actually good enough to shoot down some aircraft, so yeah, very, very nice. Of course, we have some twin Bofors here up on top of the superstructure as well, and a bunch of these casemate guns, but they're just to make it look more interesting more than anything. And over here, you guys probably recognize this guy because I used it in my Ashes of the Empire Let's Play. This is the Led Zeppelin. A very, very fast transport craft. It's actually cheaper to run than the helicopter. It looks like 600 materials per minute. Yeah. It just uses like a couple of custom fuel engines that I made. Oh, sorry. I went too far there. Right, this is all made out of plates, so yeah. I'm trying to get rid of the blocks and that doesn't always work. Anyway, it's got these very, very efficient fuel engines that I designed for it. It has very, very good efficiency. And for this kind of speed, I think it's going to do very, very well. I just kind of built a blimp out of the alloy plates and then just strapped a bunch of cargo containers to it. I just kind of wanted to look like they were just kind of put together on there at random. But yeah, the jet thrusters are the only thing that powers this. Or gives it any propulsion at least. So yeah, we'll move on. Now this is something completely brand new. I'm sure there are those of you out there who are familiar with the SR-71 Blackbird. So yeah, this is kind of the same concept. This is the Poisonous Shadow Recon plane. Poisonous Shadow being a, I believe it was Megadeth? Yeah, Megadeth song. This thing is designed to fly at an extremely high altitude of about 2 kilometers and at a speed of 495 meters per second. And it's only got one purpose in life, and that is take this enormous radar array here in the middle and basically spot our targets. It doesn't have the greatest efficiency, but I think the speed will more than make up for this, because I'm doubtful if there's anything on Neater that'll be able to catch this thing, unless I do something completely stupid and allow it to get blockaded. Even then, it's pretty damn cheap. I mean, less than 20k. So the design is kind of making me think that it might be about time that I came up with a updated version of the Hammer High bomber. So yeah, expect a Hammer High Mark II sometime in the near future. It's probably going to be using maybe a pack instead of EMP frag bombs, so yeah, we'll see. And you guys probably recognize this little darling. Probably the single most useful unit I have probably ever made. Little 734 spy satellite. Kind of slow, but basically it just gives us radar coverage, and it's meant to be more of a stationary thing. But I've been using it to capture enemy tiles, which it's okay at, as long as the enemy isn't like bomb rushing them. But if that happens to be, that's what the She-Wolf is for. And over here you guys will recognize this from the what was it? Ashes of the Empire Let's Play. It's just a very tried and true design, and I've been very happy with it, and it's fairly cheap. It's the Sparta Light Fighter. About 13k materials, very, very quick. I think this will do us very, very well early game. Some of you guys are probably wondering where the hell the biplanes are at. I'm probably going to hold those in reserve till we get to taking at the Onyx Watch. I think the Spartas and the 99 Ways to Die Cram Bomber are probably going to be able to handle most things out there, at least from the Deepwater Guard. So the plan is, I'm probably going to build one of these first just to get good radar coverage and see what's going on. Of course, this will be after I tear apart the starting fortress and put something cheaper in place. But then we'll probably build one of these guys just so we have some mobile eyes out there. Then probably build like a Jawbreaker and a couple of the Spartas and one of these, and we'll just start sniping the enemy's resource zones. At least that's the plan, and it seems to be working pretty good so far, so yeah. Alright guys, well I hope you like the starting lineup there. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get to use more craft in this campaign, because I was really disappointed by how short the Onyx Watch one was, and we didn't even get to use like half of the craft that I built for it, so yeah. Anyway, so I'd like to thank you all for watching. This has been Dama 82. Have yourselves a hell of a day, and keep your hammer high. Later.